really a popular thing, and but we wanted to do it like in a way where it wasn't even like tongue in cheek or like we wanted to make it a film that we really loved, like those old Italian films where they're just completely unself-aware or they come off unself-aware, and it's got the whole progressive rock soundtrack, and there's just excessive like close-up shots of Fulci type of violence and stuff.
Are you happy with how the film
Oh
ended?
yeah, I mean, I enjoy watching the movie. It's a great movie to get drunk to, and you know, which me and Evan just watched it again recently. And Evan had always like it even affected Evan a long time afterwards, even more than it did me, because I was able to just move on and start doing short films. But Evan had to live with it a little bit longer, and it was just like it used to really depress him. But we watched the new version that Synapse helped us put together. Which I like the new version a lot, except for they put these stupid titles on the film. But we watched it like really drunk and stoned the other day, and it was man, it was a great time.
So okay, so you made your splatter film that you wanted to get out of the system, and then I mean because Pop Skull is a completely different type of movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's really unique. There's pretty much nothing out there that I've seen for quite a while. It's a very serious film. It comes from the heart. It comes from a very sort of pure emotional experience. Do you want to sort of describe how your relationship with Lane, the lead actor, and how it came about? It's not, if you're going to see the film after this at 8:15, it's not going to, hearing about Pop Skull is not really going to explore the experience, because it is a sort of one-off experience.
Yeah.
That knowing bits of the story is not really going to.
Yeah, it's more of an atmosphere type of thing, anyways. But what happened was after Homesick was all washed over, and I was doing my thing where I was doing a lot of 48-hour film festival stuff. Really just like improving myself as a filmmaker. And at some point, this guy Lane Hughes contacted me for this little zine that he was writing. Just real shitty little zine that was like badly photocopied and stuff. And he wanted to do an interview for me because like one of his friends had seen like the rough cut that we'd screened a couple years ago at the local film festival, Homesick. And so I did the interview with him. And after that, like he kept on like he would call me occasionally and ask for like little filmmaking advice. Just like little digital stuff here and there, about, camera tips and stuff. And then one day, like, he just started talking about, like, his ex-girlfriend and stuff to me. And I think it was actually, we met up because I let him borrow my camera. And then we started hanging out one day, like, after he gave it back, I was like, all right, let's go out and get something to eat, And so, like, he starts going on about, like, his ex-girlfriend and stuff. And he starts really getting into his personal life and everything. And, I was really interested because I'd had kind of a similar thing where like I was still a teenager and been going out with this girl for a while and was hoping to marry her and stuff like that, and then it fell through, and I got really really depressed afterwards. This was like right at the end of film school, and at the time whenever that was going down for me, I'd wanted to do a movie that kind of encapsulated what that's like, because it seems very melodramatic to an outsider, especially the further along you get away from that experience of that first breakup, but I wasn't able to do it when I was in it because I was just too fucking depressed, and when I met Lane, I realized that he was dealing with it exactly the same way that I dealt with it, if not even more over the top, and then when we got talking, he started going on about like how his house was haunted and how he was doing all these over-the-counter pills, like he was doing this thing that people call farming, where you take like over-the-counter cough medicine and stuff, and you trip off of it, and I was like, wow, this is all kind of interesting stuff, and I just kind of filed it in the back of my brain, and one day, like I just like Lane had never done any acting, so that was never like something that I was like, yeah, we need to make a movie together. So it was never like an obvious thing at first, but he was the only person I knew that didn't have a job, and and he really had like a real strong creative drive to him. So I kept that in mind, and one day, like, I just decided, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd watched like Mystic River or something that night, and I was listening to like the soundtrack to what's the director of oh fuck, I forget the name. But I was listening to this thing at 3 in the morning, and I just thought, you know what, fuck it. I was like, I'm getting older now, I mean, I wasn't that old at that time, but I was like, I just felt like, as time was going on, eventually I was probably going to get a girl pregnant on accident or something, and I wasn't going to have all this time to myself, and I was like, if I'm going to make it, if I'm going to be a filmmaker, I got to fucking make something. I got to do it right now, and digital technology's at the point. It's not embarrassing to look at. I can make a movie right now, just like these 48-hour film festival things. And I'd been trying to write some stuff up to that point, like post Homesick, and I was always obsessed with budget stuff, and I could never get anything written. So I just was like, fuck it, I'll do a movie about Lane. So I called him up and I was like, listen, we're going to do a movie based on we're going to use your life basically as a structure. We're going to take the breakup element, the haunting element, and the drug element, and we're going to use that as our basis. We're not even going to write a script. We're going to write out an outline, because I'd read something about Wong Kar-wai doing that for some of his earlier stuff. And so I was like, okay, so I know at least someone else has done this before, so it works, And so I was like, so what we're going to do is, write out this basic outline, and anything that we need, any gaps that we need filled, we'll just use your life as our structure, our fallback, and that's kind of how it got started.
So how detailed was the outline? You just want a really sort of bare bones.
Yeah,
structure?
it was about like 3 pages long, and it was like there was just like a sentence or two for each scene, and it was just like, Daniel does this, Daniel does that, and the one thing that I forgot to mention is like the day that I called Lane in the morning, he was like on the way to like some sort of horrible, boring family trip, and he was like really fucked up, and he was like trying to eat a cheeseburger or something, and he couldn't eat it, and I was like trying to explain him what he's doing, and I told him, I was like, listen, you need to come to my house tomorrow, and we're going to work this movie out, and I was like, and no matter what, a month from now we're going to start filming. And so that's what we did, and we just kind of like, we literally like, we set this arbitrary deadline. It really made no sense, at all, but I just knew that if we didn't make ourselves do it, we weren't going to do it. So
break down from when you have this epiphany, I'm going to make it in this next month. I've got a start date.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Lane, his whole weird life that I want to capture. I've got a bare bones outline. What do you do within it? How do you get that? What happens in that next month period?
Well, the next month was just detailing out the story. I was working, and then like I brought EL Cats into it. My friend Evan brought him into it, had him help us with the story and stuff like that. And then the rest of the time was just, a lot of that. We spent a lot of time thinking out like the outline. Me and Lane would just go out, take these really long walks, and just discuss everything. And then it was a matter of securing just the bare necessities to get it done. We had to get a camera, which a company loaned to us, and they also gave us like, they gave us like, at the time it was only like $1,500. I was like, yeah, we can do the whole thing for $1,500. And then, but it didn't go that much, but it ended up being $3,000. But
you shot on DVX?
Yeah, on the DVX 100. And once we got all that stuff into place, then it was like, and then we did our little casting call. And I already had like most actors that I knew that I wanted. Except for there was like this one female part, which is Hannah's character. There's a blonde girl in the film, which you'll see, and she, the way we did our auditions for the film, we even improv'd our auditions. We just had like one of my friends, this Canadian guy named Daryl. He was in town for the first 2 weeks of production, but he was there for the audition thing, and I just had him act in there with the girl, and I guess like one of my friends who helped do the casting call for us like sent it out, which I didn't know he sent it out to, but a bunch of high schools. And like, I'd originally wanted the character to be like 18 and up, but like, so we got all these like younger girls coming in there, but and Hannah happened to be one of those, but and she happened to be the best too. But even our audition was pretty brutal. Like we didn't give any of the girls any credit. It was like, I think the scene is the girls trying to play video games, and trying not to pay attention to this guy, and he's accusing her of stealing one of his beers, and like drinking all of his alcohol or something, and like Daryl would just lay into these girls, and like one of them even like punched him in the face, and like it just got brutal. And but like Hannah, the girl that we ended up choosing, she was the only person that came into the audition, and she completely controlled Daryl. Daryl couldn't even get her to like get angry or upset. Like she actually calmed him down in the scene, and I was just like, that's incredible. And plus she was the prettiest one, so.
So how big was the team at this stage, like leading up to?
The team was always fluctuating, but really the core crew is always just myself and my little brother Ashton, and for the main photography, Evan was there the whole time, just kind of sitting in the background, flipping pages in magazines, and when we needed him, he was like, all right, here's what you're gonna, here's a bunch of ideas, and we kind of went at it like that.
Because there's an enormous amount of coverage in it. Like